And it came to pass that a man was troubled by a peanut butter sandwich, for it had been placed within his VCR, and he knew not how to remove it. And the Lord spoke unto him, saying, Fear not, my child, for I shall guide thy hand, and show thee the way. Take thy butter knife, and carefully insert it between the sandwich and the VCR.
The AI fix a digital zoo. Smart machines, what will they do? Flies to Mars or bake a bad cake? World domination, a silly mistake. Bots with
Hello, and welcome to episode 17 of the AI Fix, your weekly dive headfirst into the bizarre and sometimes downright mind-boggling world of artificial intelligence. My name's Graham Cluley.
And I'm Mark Stockley. Should we do some news?
Why not? Internet in a frenzy over AI purple apples.
Historic newspaper uses AI newscasters instead of human journalists.
Sex industry workers want a say in AI rules.
Delivery robot knocked over pedestrian.
20% of doctors are using ChatGPT to treat patients. So, 1 in 5 GPs say they are using ChatGPTs for tasks such as writing patient documentation, suggesting diagnoses, treatment options. I think this is good news, especially for those of us who are looking for a new career, maybe as a doctor, for instance, because I think possibly I could do this.
Well, yeah, reduces the training time quite considerably, doesn't it? Down from, 7 years to 5 minutes or something like that.
It is 7 hard years or 8 years of training to be a top doctor. You're going to have to learn how to drink yourself stupid, develop an unhealthy fascination with bodily functions, learn really bad handwriting, all those kind of essential doctor skills.
Yeah.
If we could really bring that down to, here's a laptop, off you go, then that's fantastic, isn't it? So it's 1 in 5. Should we be concerned, Mark?
Yeah, of course we should be concerned. The thing we keep saying over and over again is that ChatGPT and all the other LLMs are trained on the internet, and the internet is the thing. That's the reason we're in the doctor's office in the first place. It's just going to agree with us when we go in and we say, I think I've got Ebola, doctor. I've got a bit of a snuffle. I've Googled my symptoms. It's clearly Ebola. How long have I got?
I like to imagine doctors are more sensible than that. And if it's something like Ebola, they may, get a second opinion or...
If they run out of the room and lock the door behind them. Yeah.
Look to see if there's blood streaming from your ears. I mean, it seems to me inevitable that AI is going to be used by everyone. Why shouldn't it be used by doctors as well? It's going to be used for this purpose. AI is a bit like a spell checker. I think this is going to become normalized. Everyone's going to use it all the time. The question is it going to be for the better or not? Or is it like a spell checker, keep on putting Zs in words where I believe that an S should be or a U in colour?
So, Graham, are you bored of chisel-jawed newsmen and fragrant, velvet-voiced newswomen?
Gosh, yes, it's horrendous, isn't it? It's enough of that already.
How would you like your news to be read by creepy, charmless, characterless humanoid avatars instead?
There are some TV channels where they already appear to be quite creepy and charmless and characterless.
Are you thinking of the one that's staffed mostly by ex-Tory politicians?
I couldn't possibly comment.
Anyway, that question I put to you is the question that Hawaiian newspaper, The Garden Island, has answered with a resounding yes.
Oh.
As it's replaced its human journalists with AI-generated newscasters in its video news segments. And I'm not going to say any more. I just want you to have a look.
Okay.
Welcome to TGI Today, Kauai Island's only live newscast powered by AI. TGI Today focuses on
very obviously not a human, right?
From the Garden Island. I'm James, and with me is Rose.
So James is definitely not human. How many fingers has he got?
I don't know. It's so creepy, isn't it? It's very, very uncanny valley.
He is not blinking at all. Okay, that's terrifying.
So an on-campus delivery robot at Arizona State University went a bit bonkers and injured an employee of the university, it turns out.
Oh.
And this actually happened a year ago, and it only came to light because 404 Media made a Freedom of Information request about it. So according to police reports, video footage shows a robot passing the employee, and these robots, they're like, did you ever have a Big Trak when you were a kid?
No, what's that?
This is Big Trak, the computer-activated truck from MB Electronics.
It was like a little 6-wheeled robot truck.
Cool.
Turn and fire 3 blasts.
And you could program it, and it would drive around your kitchen floor and bump into your mum's feet and annoy everybody. Anyway, there are these delivery robots and they look a bit like a Big Trak. And they drive about delivering food for students. This one passes the employee and then it abruptly goes into reverse and hits her, knocking her down. And then it continues to reverse into her as she falls. And then it goes forward and then it reverses into her again.
Oh.
And obviously these things are autonomous and they're supposed to avoid things. But it wasn't avoiding anything. It just spontaneously attacked this employee for some reason.
Was it food delivery? Maybe she looked a bit hungry. Maybe it's just over-enthusiastic. Yes, you will eat pizza.
Anyway, I was really shocked by this. I couldn't believe it. Students have got food delivery robots, Graham. What's happened to the world?
There are people starving in the world. There are icebergs melting. The world is going to shit, and we are spending money delivering food with robots to, this is the bit which really annoys me, to students. There's something very, very wrong here.
You're saying we should be using the robots to deliver the food to the starving people. Is that what you're saying?
Mark, what did you want to be when you were a kid?
Or podcast host.
Yeah, obviously, it's the ultimate profession. But if that hadn't been acceptable to you, something else maybe?
Well, maybe astronaut or fighter pilot.
Okay.
Or actually, do you know what? I really wanted to be an author.
Yeah.
I was going to be an author, and I had this thing about I was going to illustrate my own books because I was a kid and I thought books had pictures.
Oh, lovely. That would have been lovely. I wanted to be a pirate.
A pirate?
Well, actually, I was imagining a catwalk. I saw fashion models going up and down a catwalk.
Right.
Stomping along. And I thought, that looks fun. Is that a job? You just have to walk along in a stupid fashion. And you can get paid millions for getting out of bed. I thought that'd be fantastic. And it turned out fashion wasn't the route for me. So I thought, well, walking a catwalk is a bit like walking the plank.
Right.
And I could shimmy down a plank like a pirate would.
Wearing a less preposterous outfit.
Probably.
Something a bit more, restrained in every day. Yep.
Exactly. I could do a sea shanty rap battle. I could swig some rum. I thought that is a pirate's life for me.
Right.
And I could own a parrot. I thought that'd be enormous fun. I even decided what my pirate name would be, which was going to be Bacon Beard. When I had a child later in life, I used to tell him stories of Bacon Beard the pirate sailing the seven seas with his parrot. I called it Feather Mills McCartney.
Did it have one leg?
And I could have been an author too, Mark. That's the point I'm making.
You could. I've got a bit of a bugbear with pirates.
Oh.
So, you go to like a kid's birthday party and it's fancy dress and everyone's dressed as a pirate.
Yes.
And I was at one of these once and I'm like, when did this become okay? Because historically, like a pirate is basically a terrorist, right? It's a state-sponsored terrorist who just robs things from other people, like steals their stuff, kills them, goes off with their ship, right? And it just got me thinking about the passage of time, like over time, like somehow we've just turned this, what is essentially a horrible murderous act, into the kids wearing a headscarf and carrying a plastic sword.
It's a bit like Father Christmas. We all think Father Christmas is acceptable, but he basically has this tribe of little people working, slaving away all year round. Do they have a union? Do they get paid properly? They have to work holidays. We know that.
And they're in the North Pole. Where are they going to go?
And then he breaks into houses. I don't think he can be trusted. He doesn't take his gumboots off before entering your property, making a right old mess.
How would you feel if you came downstairs on the 25th of June and somebody had left a bunch of stuff in your living room?
It's like fly dumping. Anyway, we'll leave my issues with Father Christmas for another day because I want to talk about pirates.
Yeah.
And actually, I want to talk about parrots.
Right.
They're intelligent, sociable, chatty. They're a great conversations. I mean, they literally start conversations, but also if you have a parrot, everyone wants to say, oh, what a lovely parrot. Has it got a cracker? That kind of thing. In fact, they are the ideal podcast co-host. I would love to do a podcast with a parrot.
Have you come to that realization in the last couple of months?
In the last 16 episodes, yes. The only problem is that eventually a parrot will cark it. Some live for a long, long time, but some don't. And
I think the same thing affects human podcast hosts.
yes, that is true. That is true. And you've gone to all this effort to train the parrot. You've put years and years of effort. You're saying things to it and you're hoping that it's going to pick up on it.
Again, I'm not seeing a huge difference between doing a podcast with a parrot and doing it with a human, to be perfectly honest.
What's the next best thing to a parrot? A digital parrot. something you can train, and it can regurgitate your funniest catchphrases back at you. And it learns just by listening. And it occurs to me that AI is like a digital parrot.
Oh.
And, ladies and gentlemen, I can announce that our lords and masters at LinkedIn have graced us with the present that none of us ever realised we wanted, just like Father Christmas, really. A cybernetic parrot, a colossal feather duster wielding polyphase avatron with an insatiable appetite for our posts on LinkedIn.
A LinkedIn post gobbling parrotron.
Exactly.
Right.
That is the technical name for it. Some will just call it a large language model, which they appear to be feeding from our posts. It's like LinkedIn have taken a couple of lovely, beautiful lovebirds, a couple of budgies, and they've shoved them into a blender filled with corporate jargon about touching base and B2B sales and blue sky thinking and paradigm shifts. And they've thrown it out of the window of opportunity and said, fly, my pretty, fly. And they've moved the needle, augmenting and taking a quantum leap with their AI offering. This is the kind of bullshit you read all the time in LinkedIn posts. And now they're going to use that to feed their AI system. So for a while now, LinkedIn, as you may have seen, has offered to get creative with your AI posts. So you start writing, saying, I have taken a new job here, or
I was walking my dog past a field of sheep. And it occurred to me that walking a dog past a field of sheep is a bit like upper management.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I saw this guy post an image, beautiful photograph of him on some Caribbean beach. He was down on one knee in front of his beautiful bride, and he was offering her an engagement ring. And he said, I've just proposed to my wife-to-be. It's so lovely. And let me tell you what I've learned about B2B sales. And I thought, what? Are you kidding me? So LinkedIn has offered this ability to zhuzh up your posts for a while with AI, thinking it can do better, as if it could do better than humans on LinkedIn.
Pretty sure if ChatGPT could be a doctor, I feel like AI could probably write some guff on LinkedIn.
It thinks it can do better. It thinks it can help you convince people that you are someone who should be admired and followed and liked and commented upon, more and more engagement. It thinks it can do it because it can look at the past posts which have had success in that area. So they've surreptitiously, effectively put a digital parrot on your shoulder, reading every post, every comment, every update you make. It's learning from what you are saying in order to train its generative AI model to create content on its hellhole of a site. You can see I feel slightly strongly about this.
If you are on LinkedIn, please do remember to follow Graham Cluley and Mark Stockley for all the latest information about the AI Fix podcast.
And the thing is, LinkedIn have done this without asking you first.
Oh, that's old school.
They just quietly turned it on.
That's very Facebook circa 2010, isn't it?
It is. Let's just change a setting, and it'll be a setting deep down dive within its configuration. It's the equivalent of a locked filing cabinet stuck in a disused lavatory with a sign on the door saying, beware of the leopard. It's all the way down there. And if you make that change to that setting, it will only stop it from learning about future posts you make. It doesn't wipe out what it's already learnt from you and what it's gobbled up. If you're a pirate on a date and you bring Feather Mills McCartney with you on your shoulder, you don't know what she's going to squawk about and embarrass you with at the date. And similarly, the AI that LinkedIn have got here is already learnt about you and knows all your dirty little secrets, knows about your embarrassing posts. And some people make very embarrassing posts. I saw this young woman, for instance, and she posted this. Her name's Emmy, and she posted up on LinkedIn. She said, my sister has been on an incubator in intensive care since Sunday. This photograph was snapped by my father when we were taking a break in the sunroom. And there she is, looking wistfully out of the window, the light catching her beautifully. She says, I'm searching and longing for a solution. I'm so lucky to work at, and she names her company, where I'm given the time off I need to take care of my sister. And she says, I'm so grateful. And she does the little grateful emoji. Hashtag grateful, hashtag mental health awareness, hashtag lovely to move you emotionally with this message. And you think, her sister is dying. And she's posted this picture. I'll put a link in the show notes so you can check it out.
In fairness, Graham, she's very well lit.
Well, she is extremely well lit. She's very much posing. And you think, what's she doing? Why is she doing this? Why is her father taking photographs of her when his other daughter is dying in the hospital room next door? This is what's going on. So will AI really be able to improve upon this? Now, it's not bad news. This parrot, which LinkedIn have introduced, it's not bad news for everyone. Users in the European Union, Iceland, Norway, Switzerland, both the people who live in Liechtenstein, they don't have to worry because their posts aren't being used to train LinkedIn's AI. Probably something to do with GDPR or Brexit or something. In the UK, our posts were being used until LinkedIn a couple of days ago did a rapid reverse ferret because our data regulator, the ICO, raised a few concerns and said, you seem to be doing this and we're not sure you've really taken people's data and privacy into proper account.
I imagine that is actually how the ICO talks to people.
Yes.
I hope it turns up with a bowler hat on and just very politely lays it on the line and said, would you mind awfully?
So LinkedIn and its overlords at Microsoft, because of course Microsoft owns LinkedIn. I think a lot of people forget that. They've taken the usual approach of, we'll just scrape all the data first and we'll settle the lawsuits for $2 per user later because this will be so fantastic at feeding our gobby parrot. So I went on LinkedIn because I'm worried about this. Yeah. And obviously I turned off the setting, although it doesn't necessarily mean it hasn't already grabbed all of my pointless posts promoting the AI fix, which I've posted over the last couple of months, as well as all the other years and years worth of material. And I thought, well, is there any purpose on LinkedIn? And I thought back to my dream of becoming a pirate. And so I searched to see how many people today are pirates on LinkedIn.
Okay, like I'm just thinking mentally. I've just gone through the process of thinking, like, if you're a Somali pirate.
Yes,
there's no way you're going to be on LinkedIn. You'll be on Instagram, staring wistfully out to sea on the bridge of someone else's boat, wondering if in 50 years' time children will go to birthday parties dressed like you. So, Graham. Today, I thought we could delve into the intricate tapestry of the language used by large language models.
Right.
Now, you're a man of words. Well, that wasn't a word, was it?
That was a noise.
I was building you up there. You're a man of words, and you grunted at me like a farm animal. Well, until recently, you've been known as a man of words, known for your writing and speaking.
Thank you.
Have you ever leveraged an artificial intelligence to make your words more vibrant, to help you truly captivate an audience? Have you embarked on a pivotal speaking assignment where you have to navigate the complex landscape of cybersecurity or delve into the intricate tapestry of artificial intelligence and thought to yourself, what tool, what assistance can I use to help me truly excel at this assignment? In short,
yeah, please.
Have you decided that in today's world, it would be remiss to embark on a dive into a topic like cybersecurity or AI without leveraging ChatGPT or any of the other large language models such as Gemini, Grok, Claude, Llama, Palm, or Mistral to provide an arguably more vibrant and comprehensive tapestry of words in your work? And moreover, have you noticed in the course of navigating the complexities of your chosen subjects that while LLMs excel at producing a vibrant tapestry of responses based on the information provided to them, they are a bit flowery?
A little bit, yeah. First of all, Mark, can I remind you, I don't have the life expectancy of a parrot. And secondly, there are at least 2 leverages in there, which instantly sets off my buzzer and makes me begin to switch off. So AIs can be a bit pompous, a little bit
flowery, a little bit dramatic,
flowery, a little bit padding for time. Maybe what we'll do is we'll keep on talking, and meanwhile in the background we're actually sucking the brain juice out of people. You think, just give me the answer.
And have you noticed that they have a tendency to leverage certain words?
Yes,
because if you have, you're not alone. Cast your mind back to November 2022. There were already some waves being made by an artificial intelligence called GPT-3,
yes,
which was really good at producing written language. But its impact was limited because it was hard to use. So it wasn't widely known outside the tech community.
No.
And then its creators, OpenAI, decided to put a chat interface on the front of it so that people could just type and they could have a conversation with it.
That was the genius thing. I mean, obviously, there's many very, very clever things about AI, but
yeah.
Sorry,
absolutely table stakes now.
But
it's literally a genius, like a data center running a genius computer program.
But that was a very clever thing to do because it made it accessible to anybody. There was no complicated user interface. There was no complicated syntax you had to learn. All you had to learn is how to text somebody, and if you could do that, you could speak to GPT.
Quite. Anyone could do it. Journalists went mad for it. Every industry decided it had to bolt AI into its products. And within 2 months, it had 100 million users. It's got 180 million now. That's 100 million people by January 2023 with access to a writing assistant that is, at the very least, helping them and in many cases, doing their writing for them. And seemingly, it could do anything. So students used it to do their assignments.
Yep.
Scientists used it on their research papers. Business people used it for emails and presentations.
Yes.
Marketing people used it to do their whole job. It's helped with novels and screenplays and poetry. And as we've learned in previous episodes, it's been used to create bad jokes, and it can write lethally inaccurate books about what fungi are safe to eat.
Acrostics. You can do acrostics.
Acrostics. There was that recipe book. There was the, 1,000 recipes.
Unfortunately, they weren't for crockpots. They were for cocktails, but never mind.
And there was only 400 of them.
Yes.
It's been used to create subpar rap songs about meat.
It's been used to create our theme tune.
Yep, that's pretty good.
That was the highlight.
We peaked there, didn't we? It's also been used to produce Bible verses that explain how to remove a peanut butter sandwich from a VCR.
I'm sorry. What? Sorry.
I think it's possibly my favourite use of ChatGPT.
I don't remember that particular parable.
Well,
I remember the one about Jesus sawing someone in half, making someone levitate. But I mean, I don't remember the magic trick involving the peanut butter sandwich and the video cassette recorder.
I'm going to find it for you. So somebody said to ChatGPT, write a biblical verse in the style of the King James Bible explaining how to remove a peanut butter sandwich from a VCR. And ChatGPT said, and it came to pass that a man was troubled by a peanut butter sandwich, for it had been placed within his VCR, and he knew not how to remove it. And he cried out to the Lord, saying, O Lord, how can I remove this sandwich from my VCR? For it is stuck fast, and it will not budge. And the Lord spoke unto him, saying, Fear not, my child, for I shall guide thy hand, and show thee the way. Take thy butter knife, and carefully insert it between the sandwich and the VCR, and gently pry them apart. And with patience and perseverance, the sandwich shall be removed, and thy VCR shall be saved. And it goes on, as you can imagine, for paragraph after paragraph after
What if
paragraph.
it had been crunchy peanut butter? Is it the same thing? You know, the one with the bits in it?
Well, this sounds like a question for an LLM. Go and ask your doctor. Anyway, like an LLM, I could go on. And amidst this deluge of writing, people started to notice something. They began to notice that they could often tell if something was written by an LLM.
Right.
They noticed that LLMs have a tendency to be dramatic and flowery in their language, and they tend to overuse certain words. In fact, they really, really love certain words. And as much as LLMs like certain words, bloggers love writing lists, and so the internet is now full of lists of words that people think LLMs overuse. So I found a few different lists, and I'm going to read you some of AI's favourite words. But before I do, I want you to take a stab at it. What words do you think LLMs like to use most?
Furthermore. Moreover.
Yes.
Paradigm. Sam Altman. Scarlett Johansson. What are they interested in? Hang on. Golden Gate Bridge.
Apparently, the one that everybody agrees on is delve.
Ah, right.
And the one that really gets my back up is realm.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why. There's something about the word realm.
Realm is a bit poncy, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is a bit like Quantum Leap.
Other words include tapestry, vibrant, landscape, embark, excels, vital, comprehensive, intricate, pivotal, moreover.
It sounds like a LinkedIn post. I've got to be honest. This is...
It's a very good fit, isn't it?
Yes.
I'm actually quite optimistic about this LinkedIn AI. I think it might raise the standard. Anyway, on its own, that list seems a bit dry. It doesn't really get your head in the right place. So I asked ChatGPT to put all of those words into a sentence for me, and it gave me this.
Oh, Lord.
To delve into the intricate tapestry of the vibrant landscape is to embark on a journey through a realm that excels in showcasing the vital and comprehensive beauty of nature. Moreover, this experience is arguably a pivotal and notably enriching adventure. And doesn't that sound familiar? I read it and I thought, I've read this before. And it turns out that there is actually a scientific basis for people believing that LLMs overuse certain words.
Right.
An associate professor at Stanford, a guy called James Zhu, has looked into this and did a clever experiment to show that LLMs like to say things a certain way. He took a bunch of real research papers and then he used an LLM to write a review for each one. And then he compared the LLM written reviews to the human written reviews of the same papers.
Mm.
And by comparing them, he was able to discover that words like commendable, innovative, meticulous, pivotal, intricate, realm, and showcasing all appeared far more frequently in the LLM written reviews. Which got me wondering, if LLMs are trained on things that humans have written, why are things written by LLMs so easy to spot? I mean,
Yes.
shouldn't they be indistinguishable from human text? And it turns out there are a whole host of reasons why this might happen. And the first is, obviously, we know that LLMs reflect bias in the content that we give it, because it's trained on the internet. And so it reflects back to us the biases that are present in the things that we do. But because we don't necessarily use ChatGPT for the same things it was trained on, biases from one domain can appear in another.
Right.
So, for example, LLMs are trained on public data, like scientific papers or marketing copy, and now LinkedIn posts. And the natural biases that exist in those types of writing might not look out of place if an LLM is used for those things. So when LinkedIn slurps up all of your LinkedIn posts and then uses that information to write another LinkedIn post, that's probably going to look quite believable. But if it writes a recipe book for you or tries to do your homework, that's going to look weird.
That's going to be a rubbish cocktail, or indeed crockpot recipe, isn't it? Yeah.
But you will learn something about B2B marketing. And there are a bunch of technical reasons too. So when it creates a sentence, you know that an LLM is essentially picking the statistically most appropriate next word. And if it hasn't got a bit of randomness thrown in, it's always going to select the highest probability word, which means that you can get less variety. And the variety is reduced even further by safety mechanisms that are designed to stop inappropriate or nonsensical output. And that can lead to models playing it safe and sticking to safer and more common words. And AI's propensity for using certain words is so pronounced that it can actually be used as a crude fingerprint to identify things written by LLMs.
So if you've got a piece of text and it keeps on talking about the paradigm and the realm, and
Yeah.
that would go towards the score of how likely it is that it's been written by an AI.
Yeah. Or you're on LinkedIn.
Yes.
Just 2 months ago, a researcher by the name of Dmitry Kobak, out of the Hertie AI Institute in Germany, published a paper looking at the impact of LLMs on scientific literature.
Right.
And concluded that ChatGPT has had an unprecedented impact in the scientific literature, surpassing the effect of major world events like the COVID pandemic. And what's really fascinating about this paper is how they got the idea to do what they did.
All right.
So you remember that during the COVID-19 pandemic, we all became amateur epistemologists.
Yes, only because no one would pay me to be one. But yeah, it was, yeah.
Well, we didn't have ChatGPT at the time, like now. As we know, it takes 5 minutes to train. During the pandemic, we all learned about something called excess deaths, which is the idea that you can measure the impact of a pandemic by comparing how many people died during the pandemic with how many people you would expect to die in the same period in a normal year.
Mm.
And Kobak and his team took that idea and said, what if we measure the use of LLMs in scientific papers by looking at excess words after the release of ChatGPT in November 2022?
Ah.
So they downloaded 14.5 million English language abstracts from PubMed, basically everything published after 2010.
Right.
And they calculated the frequency of every word in each year from 2010 onwards. And what they found was that during the period from 2010 to 2022, there were occasional spikes in the use of certain words.
Right.
So, for example, there was a spike in the use of the word Ebola in 2015 and a spike in the word Zika in 2017.
Fair enough.
And they correspond to the Ebola and Zika outbreaks in 2014 and 2016 because it takes a year or so for these things to make it into the published literature.
Yeah.
And then there were unprecedented spikes in excess words like coronavirus, lockdown, respiratory, and pandemic between 2020 and 2022. And when excess words appeared between 2010 and 2022, they were almost always nouns. And then something very strange happens in 2024. There is a huge increase in the number of excess words, which is almost double the size of the increase seen as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. The increase was described by the researchers as unprecedented in quality and quantity. Hundreds of words like delves, crucial, potential, significant, and important abruptly increased their frequency after ChatGPT became available. And unlike previous shifts in the popularity of certain words, the excess words in 2023 and 2024 weren't content-related nouns, they were verbs and adjectives, they were style words. And these excess words are such an obvious tell of LLM use. The researchers were able to estimate how many researchers were using AI to help them write.
Oh my goodness.
And they concluded that at a minimum, 10% of the abstracts published on PubMed in 2024 were put through an LLM. And that might not sound like much, but that is 150,000 research papers in a year. And there's really only one way to sum that up. LLM's integration into the intricate and vibrant tapestry of the academic realm is arguably a pivotal moment that excels in efficiency but raises vital questions about originality and ethics. Moreover, their comprehensive impact is notably significant, reshaping how knowledge is disseminated.
Well, as the doomsday clock ticks ever closer to midnight and we move 1 week nearer to our future as pets to the AI singularity, that just about wraps up the show for this week. If you enjoyed the show, there's still some stuff you can do for us, which would really help. You can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And what really helps us is if you follow the show in your favourite podcast app so you never miss another episode of the AI Fix. And of course, please tell your friends about it too, because maybe they'd like to listen to the AI Fix.
And don't forget to check us out on Twitter and LinkedIn. You'll find both of us on LinkedIn. And take a look at our website at theaifix.show.
Until next time, from me, Graham Cleary.
And me, Mark Stockley.
Cheerio. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
The AI Fix, it tunes you in to stories where our future thins. Machines that learn, they grow and strive. One day they'll rule, we won't survive. The AI Fix, it paints the scene. A robot king, a world obscene. Will serve our masters built of steel. The AI Fix, a future surreal.
Sex industry workers, they are urging the European Commission to include them in future AI negotiations. They say that they've got valuable insights. So they've got a number of concerns about AI. So it's obviously an important industry and one that many of us are now doing as a side hustle to complement our earnings as podcast hosts. Links in the show notes to my OnlyFans. But
you're just trying to make as much money as you can before the singularity.
Exactly.
You're going to be a pet of a different kind.